Okay, guys, so we're going to focus again on the notes we took for Tuesday and kind of go over what we're looking at again. So let me just briefly talk about, you were looking at a bunch of data points. Everything you see here, all of this are basically just data points on this graph. You don't have any reference point of what's going on here and here, but I could say, I don't know, there's a couple different ways. You'll see later on in the video, I'll show you some of the word representations you're going to have to kind of remember. But some of these questions could be on your quiz, so do the best you can. And what I was thinking of you doing, and I'm going to use the ruler, I'm going to try to think, you need to figure out a spot in this video. I'm going to show you kind of like, you got to find an average spot of all the data, wherever it would be. It doesn't have to be exactly where the 2 points maybe are. You can pick any kind of spot that would kind of show you a line in the middle of all of this data. All right, and now I'm just going to go ahead and draw this line out. And let me first ask you, what kind of association is this set of data? What kind of association is this set of data? And if you look at it properly, it's negative. It's going down. This is a negative slope, right? And if I was to go along the point, I don't have a highlighter tool. I wish I did, but if I was to go along this point here, or this line, excuse me, is there a point right there? I think I found one right here. You see that? That looks to be a point, and I just keep following along down the line. Hey, is that one there too? We could use those two sets of points, and I'll show you a little clearer, that we could use those points to kind of get to an answer of what we're trying to do. Oh, let me get my better. If I use the mouse, I can get a little more. Now I'm going to use this one as a point and this one as a point. Okay. And if I have 2 points, can I now figure out what the equation of this line is? Okay. Now, first of all, we know it's a negative slope. And when I talk about equations, again, this is first semester. I know there's going to be a slope and a y-intercept, and I already know it's going down. So I know that my slope is going to have a negative sign with it. Okay. And then now down here, I want to kind of go through and show how to solve this. So where is this first point? If we go over what? 9 up 10. Do you see that? So that point, this point right here would be 9, comma 10. You have to know how to plot points, guys. We should be good with that. Your first number either goes right or left. It's the x value. The second number either goes up or down because that's the y. That's your y-axis, all right? So let me just delete that real quick. Now, what's the second point? Over 12 up 9. Okay. Now we're going to do the best we can to get an equation out of this. All right. Am I going to do y minus y over x minus x? You're going to do that right now with the Edpuzzle. Try to solve. What is y minus y over x minus x going to be? If you're solving it, eventually you're going to get 10 minus 9 over 9 minus 12. And you're going to get 10 minus 9 is 1. And then 9 positive and a 12 negative, you're going to get negative 3. If you need to use the calculator, go for it. That negative 3 is going to go right here. That negative 3, negative 1/3 is going to go right there. So negative 1 over 3. Okay? Now this part gets a little tricky. All right, and why don't I just go ahead and take a second and all right, I'm going to go back to this screen now, and I'm going to show you again. The equation was y equals, we found out it was negative 1/3 x. We're trying to figure out the y-intercept. Now, this might be confusing because you see a fraction, you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do, Marusik. This is ridiculous. I can't do this. Well, just slow down. We're going to take 9 and 10, and 9 is your x, and 10 is your y. Where are you going to put the 9? You're going to plug it in. Where am I going to put it? 9 represents the x value. Are we going to put it right there? Are we going to now multiply? And then where's the 10 going to go? Where the y is. So what you're telling me is does 10 equal negative 1/3 times 9? All right. And ultimately, what do you want to get to? You want 10 to equal 10. So I set up a screen here. You have this, guys, write this down. And then let's go to the calculator and let's see if you can handle it on your own. You're going to go ahead and plop this in here. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. So you're going to go ahead and go -1. If you don't know that this fraction button will help you, you could do that way. Or you could hit just divide, because that's what fraction means. And then you're going to times it by what? We had 9 there, didn't we? Oh, look what we get. A nice, cute whole number, which we like to deal with. So if I was going to go back to this part here, this all equaled -3. All right. Now, if you still struggled, you got to figure out what you're going to add to get 10 to equal 10 here. Okay. And I'm going to show you, if you go back to your calculator, it's going to help you. If I do 10 equals, right, we want to get 10 equals 10, but no, hold up. We want to get to 10. We have -3. What am I going to add to -3 to get to 10? What if I say 5? Does that have to get to 10? No. What if I said 6? 7. You see how it's getting, what if I said 9? What if I said 10? Not there yet. 12. Nope. What if I add 13 to -3? Then I get to my 10 number. So I'm going to add 13. Okay, so my final equation would be -1/3 x plus 13. I know it's a lot to look at. You can handle this. I promise you, you can handle this. You can figure this out. This isn't impossible. You got this. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and look at this and deal with this part again. And it is kind of crazy, but look at my y-intercept. Isn't that close to what 13 would be, right? And it's going down 1. It's hard to see exactly. Over 1, over 2, over 3. That's kind of what it's doing. Down 1, over 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Let's do one more. And then eventually I'm going to kind of see where you're at. Hopefully you're at a good spot. I know this is difficult. Distance learning isn't easy, but you're just going to try the best you can. All right, let's take a peek at this one now. As we're looking at this, we're trying to figure out which scatter plot would have a trend line. Remember, that's what we call those trend lines, or lines of best fit of this equation. Now, what's the first thing that I would look at in this equation? Y equals, and this is where you have to become a detective in high school, right? You know this is the y-intercept. That's where it touches the y-axis, okay? And this is your slope, all right? Is your slope positive or negative? Well, it's an x. It's not negative x, so it's a positive slope, which means it's going to do something like this, all right? Something like that, okay? So you could cross out anything that's negative. So look at letter D and how it's going negative. No way. So now it can either be A, B, or C. Now I want to look at the other part of my detectiveness. That's a word. Hey, what about this part here? The 15, the y-intercept of 15. Okay, well, no point is actually covered by 15. B almost has it, and A has something kind of close. But remember, we're trying to take a ruler, and I know you don't have a ruler at home, but try to find the middle of this data. I would say the middle of that data would be right around here. All right, I would say the middle of this data would be like right here, kind of. All right, I would say this data is like, all right. Okay, now let's get rid of this ruler. This kind of helps you now. Look at your lines. Which one has a y-intercept? That means it touches the y-axis of 15. And if you're still struggling with y-intercepts, where does it touch the y-axis? At plus 15. And hopefully you can see your answer is B, and that's how easy it could be. All right. All right, let's go. Next one. All right, take a look at this. And this one, I'm going to take it more to a word problem. Forget about an equation, because do you see any data at all? But think about this, or even right now, you guys understand, like, people are ordering a lot of food, like, delivered, right? They don't want to go out of their house. So this could be something that could be advantageous, or it could help out those delivery people making that money from tips. Every time you order a delivery, you have to tip the driver for the most part. I think Uber kind of gives it as an option, but other places like Instacart and other things, like you have to tip. That's part of the service. So as this driver keeps delivering, what do you notice about the data? Is this a positive association, negative association, or no association? Okay. And if I look at this, all right, looking at this, I'm like, okay, hey, I see that. All right, that's interesting. I see a positive association. Okay. And I just took a line that would be kind of in the middle. And just it makes sense, right? The more deliveries you do, the more money you're going to make. So it's almost an incentive to work hard and to get that food delivered or whatever it is, groceries delivered quicker so you can get those tips. That's how it works. I was telling you, my friend who used to work at Nordstrom, and if he sold a bunch of shoes during his time there, he would make money on every purchase for everybody that bought the shoes from him. And that's a way the market or the way the department store makes you work harder. They want their employees to work hard. They don't want them to be lazy, just soaking up an hourly wage. They want them to work hard. So that's another way of doing it. Okay. So the way you would write this, you would say, as the deliveries, I know I'm writing on the screen, it's kind of hard. As the deliveries increase, what else increases? The tips increase. Okay. And you got to kind of look at it that way. You may see some questions like that in your quiz. All right, guys. Let's do another one like that. Oh, let me go back to that real quick. Do you see that outlier? All right. So what does that mean? That means this guy, this girl delivered maybe 2 orders, but still got this much in tips. As much as somebody over here that probably did like 10 deliveries. So that meant somebody gave that person a big tip. All right, that's happened to me. I used to wait on tables, and I got one time I got $100 tip, and I like flipped out. I was like, oh my goodness, this is awesome. All right. All right, this will be the last one we look at. So let's look at the relationship between school completion and annual income. All right, and this is talking about the more years you have of schooling, the more money you will make. Is this a positive association? You're darn right it is. And you guys need to realize that your education is the key to making the money you want to make. So in the next 4 years of your life, I always talk to determine the next 40 years. If you don't take school serious, what's going to happen? You're going to really have a tough time getting the jobs you want. Those cool jobs that you'd love to have, they need the years of college. All right. And I went to college for 4 years, and then I went to my teaching credential for 2, and then I did another 2 years for my master's. So I did 4, and then 2, and then 2. So I have 8 years of college under my belt. All right. And that helps to make what I make as a teacher in Eastview City School District. And I also like what I do, which is a big deal too. So guys, take a look at this. And how would you write a sentence that would explain what's going on here? Hopefully you understand. As years of school increases, I don't think I'm going to write it as well. I'm not going to write the whole thing, but the thousands of dollars increases as well. Increases, okay? So I know that doesn't look clean. The best I can. Do the best you can on the quiz tomorrow. It's on Thursday, and then I'm going to give you a flip card on Friday. I'll explain that in a little bit, all right? Do the best you can.